Rev up your engines!
Well, Hertz is so desperate, they're trying to get rid of those stupid Tesla electric cars that they bought and nobody wants to rent, that now they're asking the customers, do you want to keep it? Do you want to buy it? They got to get rid of these things, right? It turns out they made a lot of mistakes. One was not understanding Tesla at all. They thought, oh, people are going to want to rent electric cars. One, they don't. They have horrendous resale value now. Now, originally, during coronavirus, they had high resale value because they weren't making the new ones, so the used ones are actually going more than they did when they were brand new. But those days are long gone and forgotten. Now they go for peanuts. For example, I know a guy here in Tennessee, he bought one. He only had to pay $20,000 for one that had 35,000 miles on it. So, yeah, they're getting cheaper. Nobody wants them. And Hertz is stuck with thousands and thousands of them. One guy rented a car. He stuck a screenshot of what they offered him. He said, you can buy this 2023 Tesla Model 3 with 30,000 miles on it for $17,913. And it's a one-year-old car. That tells you this is what the reality is with these electric cars. I had somebody bring me a brand new Volvo electric car, and I liked the car, excited that it was an electric car, but it wasn't like a Tesla. It wasn't like a rocket ship. Buttons you got to push all over the place in the screen. It was like a regular car with a regular dash, regular steering wheel, regular gear shift knob. And it wasn't all that bad, but I looked it up, and it was the same thing. A $65,000 Volvo, when they were a year old in Nashville, they were going for anywhere between $20,000 and $26,000 with anywhere from 15,000 to 25,000 miles on them. The used car market for electric cars is virtually non-existent. People don't want to buy an electric car, period, and a used one is even a bigger gamble. Hertz really screwed themselves over when they got all those. They thought, hey, yeah, we'll get 100,000 of them. We'll make... Did they even think? Somebody renting a car, they never even been in an electric car, they don't know how to charge them, they don't know where to charge them. Even doing things like turning the fan, a blower fan on, you have to be a computer scientist to figure it out. It's not all that intuitive, right? So, hardy har on Hertz. They go bankrupt, they come back, and what do they do? Make more bad decisions. Buy a bunch of Teslas. Who knows? Maybe they'll go bankrupt again. Well, if you bought one of those Hondas that has peeling white paint and Honda's not doing anything about it, there is now a class action lawsuit that you can join. Now, I've seen it over and over again. I mean, look at this. Look at that Honda. The paint's peeling right off of it. A group of people are now suing Honda, saying they have low-quality paintwork. The suit that was filed this month against American Honda Motor Company says they used defective paint in 2013 and newer Hondas and Acura. Same company, right? They're saying the white paints are so poor that they fail, peel, delaminate, bubble, and flake. I mean, you go on the internet, man, and you're going to find tons of pictures of people. The shades of paint, if your car has this paint, if I were you, I'd join a suit. It makes sense, is white diamond pearl paint, which is paint code NH603P. The paint code is on your VIN on the car. You can read it. Taffeta white, which is NH578. Orchid pearl, which is NH788P. And Bellanova white, NH788P. You got that paint peeling off, joint. It should not peel off. They didn't really have that problem for quite some time, especially when I was younger. They painted cars with enamel. Oil-based enamel. Stuff sticks. It's harder to paint, but it pollutes the atmosphere and you spray it. So they've gone to water-based paint. And it's these cursed water-based paints that peel off. Obviously, Honda didn't figure it out right. Now, I don't see it much on Toyotas. I don't see it on Fords. But Hondas, they obviously screwed up. And if you're mad, I know Honda's not going to do anything because I've had customers with them. Honda just said, take a hike. We're not doing anything about it. You can join this suit, and you might end up getting a whole bunch of money. In Canada, they had a class action suit, which was settled in 2022 for $27 million to give people money back for their cars that had faded away. So obviously, they know it's occurring. And hey, if you got one of these white Hondas, join the suit. Join the class action suit. Google it. Join it. Because the more people are in it, the more money Honda's got to shell out for not painting them right in the first place. Now, I guess things are getting desperate for Kia dealerships. I got an email from one of the viewers, and he says, I have a 2019 Sonata with 60,000 miles. I know they have terrible engines, but Hyundai sent me a letter that says, if I remain the original owner They will replace the engine and our transmission forever and ever. So I asked a Hyundai dealer, suppose I have 175,000 miles, the engine blows. He said, tow it in, we'll replace the engine at no cost on parts and no cost on labor, no matter how many miles. Now, nobody seems to like them, but should I keep this thing with that guarantee? I don't know if I'd believe that guarantee, you know? A letter that says this. I would want a guaranteed sheet notarized that says, yes, indeed, if it goes, we will replace this free. It won't cost you anything, because I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Both the engine and the transmission they're going to replace forever. I find that to be a real stretch, an absolute real stretch. Now, I have never seen this happen to any of my customers. Hyundai that's got 250,000 miles and they gave you a free engine or transmission, please email me, ScottyKilmer@gmail.com. I want this information so I can tell people the truth, because I just don't believe it. I don't believe it they're going to replace the engine and transmission forever. No questions asked, because I've never seen any company that ever did anything close to that. They'll always find some excuse like, oh, well, you overheated the engine, your radiator blew, we're not fixing that thing. They always come up with excuses. If anybody's had this happen and they did give you an engine and tranny free, hey, email me and tell me what's going on, because I really don't believe that it's true. They can send letters to people, but when the real rubber hits the road and an engine or tranny blows, I doubt that they're going to put new ones in for nothing. I really doubt it. And what do they mean? They'll replace it. What, they'll replace it once? Maybe they'll put a junkyard engine. Of course, then that one blows, and then they're not going to replace it again. So you'd have to have a lawyer look at what they said and see what the actual situation is, because a lot of it is just absolute nonsense. Because I've had people with Hyundais. The engines are gone. Hyundai fixed or whatever the engine and the car ran, but then within a year it blew again, and they refused to fix it the second time. So, you know, a lot of that stuff. You got to look at the small print. All right, Toyota's going even further into hybrids. They are now planning to make a minivan in 2026 that is a plug-in hybrid that you can plug it in and drive it so many miles before it goes out. They're bringing back the Toyota Previa, of course. It's just a name. The old Previa was 4-cylinder with the engine in the middle, gasoline engine, right? This is going to be a hybrid with a plug-in larger battery, so it can go a long way. Now, they don't give all the specs out yet because it's not going to be out till 2026, but I have people with plug-in RAV4s, and they can go about 55 miles on electricity alone, and that's even if you're going 60 miles an hour. So it'd be a good idea, you know, if somebody wants to experiment with an electric van. They're not stuck with, oh, the electricity's gone, we're screwed, what are we going to do? It has a regular gasoline engine that would then turn on and give you a tremendous range. The thing about plug-in hybrids is they have an even bigger range than a regular hybrid because they have a much larger battery. Toyota's decided they're going to make a minivan plug-in. It's kind of interesting because, look, their one battery electric car they have, it's a massive failure. But, hey, most electric cars are proven to be massive failures too, so maybe it's smart just pushing hybrid and plug-in hybrids too. Maybe eventually electric cars will be here and then Toyota will make them. Toyota claims that in a couple of years they're going to have an electric vehicle with batteries that are solid state and don't have electrolytes. Now, I don't know if it's going to happen by 2026 like they said it's going to happen. Who knows? You know, they've been promising solid state electric batteries for a long time. They have them for small things, but the large ones have a lot of problems with shorting out. So even though it's Toyota, if they do come out with one in 2 years, I'd say don't buy one. I'd say wait until those have been out for 4 or 5 years. Then you see, are these batteries lasting 5 years and not having problems? But hey, the idea of putting a plug-in hybrid van, pretty smart idea if you ask me. Well, here's another sign that you kind of wonder about what's happening to the economy. KTM, which is a big motorcycle company, now has 265,000 unsold motorcycles sitting around. Most people realize motorcycles are just toys. They're not regular transportation for most people, and KTM makes a lot of good dirt bikes and stuff, but people aren't buying them. That kind of shows the economies aren't in such great shape, because when they're in great shape, people spend money on all their toys. They don't care that. Well, guess what? They're not buying the toys now. And for some bizarre reason, KTM kept making motorcycles but not selling them. And now they got 265,000 1,000 of them lying around. Now, from when I did research, that's like a whole year's supply. You think the auto manufacturers are bad? They get mad if they got like a month and a half supply. These guys have an entire year's supply of motorcycles that they can't sell. And the crazy thing is the company KTM, they owe its creditors $3 billion. Looks like a recipe for disaster to me. Now KTM has already started laying people off. They said they restructured and they halted its motor GP development program. They're always big in racing motorcycles. But I mean, if you got that many unsold and you owe that much money, the future looks pretty bleak for this motorcycle manufacturer. And other motorcycle manufacturers aren't in much better position. Harley Davidson isn't either. People just aren't buying motorcycles like they used to because they don't feel comfortable to spend a lot of money on toys the way the economy's going. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.